Hello again. This is the Waterman. This is October the 12th of 2021. This is Spiritual Toolbox number 23. This is the Love chapter number 4, audio recording number 339, and it's examination table number 4. Okay? We're still in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1. Okay, and I'll start out reading it again in the King James Version or translation. Okay, it says, "Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal." Okay. Now, we covered, last time I started covering the Red Sea, okay? We'll call that number 1 on the Red Sea, all this. There's more to come, okay? I'll get that a little bit later. I'm digesting more of that right now, okay? So now we're going to continue up. Last word I covered was genomai. Number 1096 is translated as I am become. Okay, we went under that, become, come into existence, be born again. God's bringing it back, bring you back to life in Him, okay? Okay, you can look back at the other one. Okay, now, done this brass, okay? That's the next word in the interlinear Bible, the way it's got it laid out. Okay, let's go down here and get to this. Okay, and brass comes from the word, the Strong's number 5478. It's CHALKOS. It's this word.
Strong's G 5475.
Chalkos. Okay, it's a verb. Pull this up so I'm double checking and all that good stuff. Okay, halkos, and it's from the word 54. Or let's see here. Wait a minute. Yeah, 5465. Okay, now, how cost is in the Strong's is saying, blah, 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 blah. It's the number from the number 5465 through the idea of hollowing out, like cutting it out. Like God's cutting out that stuff and making room for His Spirit, that pistis, that faith to grow back into the truthfulness of God, right? As you pursue in hot pursuit of Him. From out of, hollowing out as, I'll just read it again. Number 5465 through the idea of hollowing out a vessel, this metal being chiefly used for that purpose. Okay? Now, let's take a look at this, number 5465. Okay, and let's do that hollowing it out, cutting it out. Hi-ya, karate chopping that stuff out, okay? Now, if you're agreeing with God, it's hi-ya, cutting that stuff out of your old thinking process. God's working where? In your mind, not in your brain, not in your heart. He's circumcising the foreskin of your heart, that fleshly thinking from your heart, from your mind, from those thought processes that He's working on, that little ball. He's cutting out some of that darkness, that ignorance of His ways, His will, His desire, of His love that goes beyond words. Can't describe it with mere words. Not adequately, okay? He's cutting out a little bit of that stuff so that he can bring that old stinking thinking, so he can bring you back into his right-mindedness. You should pursue him in a hot pursuit. Okay? Like you're going through the eye of the needle, okay? Now, if you're disagreeing with God, you're not being reasonable and sent it his way, being in hot pursuit, following God, like Jesus said, follow me to the disciples, right? When he first called them, met them, right? That's to be in hot pursuit, okay? If you're disagreeing with God, doing anything but being in hot pursuit of God in the midst of those storms of life, the calamities, tribulations, the fire trials, all this stuff, okay? Remember, like Pharaoh, that carnal mind, it's got you like pinned up against that Red Sea. Follow God. That's all you got. All right, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not upon your own understanding, and God will direct your path through that eye of the needle, right through on dry land, walking through the midst of that, right? He'll part the Red Sea in your mind, that old fleshly thinking, that you don't want to drink that seawater. Ew, yuck, it'll kill you, it'll drive you mad. You partake in that, you eat of that fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, your own reasoning, your own thinking, that old non-spiritual thinking, it drives you plumb nuts. You shall surely die. On the day that you eat of that, whenever things in the heat of the day, when God's working in there, he's cutting out that old, burning up that old garbage thinking with his consuming fire and refining the impurities, those impure metals out of that golden ore that he digging out of your mind, out of your earth, out of your earthly thinking, your fleshly thinking. He's digging it out. All right? Go on, okay? He's bringing you through the eye of the needle. Whenever you eat, partake of that old stinking thinking. You shall surely die. You'll be separated from God and fallen away from God. If you proceed, follow with all your heart, in hot pursuit, you go through that eye of the needle. Okay? Only the righteousness, only the love, the being in hot pursuit of God goes through that eye of the needle of the Spirit. Right? That right attitude, right with God. Increasing. Give me more. Give me more. I want more of your love, more of your light, more of your enlightenment, understanding of your ways, Father God. I want to love like you love, beyond words. And he'll increase you. But it's got to be pure. Can't be no phony baloney facade. God knows you better than you know yourself. Okay? Now, if you disagree with God, anything less than that, you qualify for this other. Now, when you disagree with God, it's like this brass is not just, it's like this coins as money. And your own selfish gain, my own righteousness, my own self-righteousness, in any form, you're falling away from God. Okay? See, I wrote some notes here. Let's see. This coins are money that's made from this brass thinking. Brass thinking in your mind, that old carnal, feeding from that old wrong fruit of the wrong tree, right? Disagreeing with God. This money is their God. That's your own ego thinking. You're obeying your own edging, that old edging God out. Trying to put that whatever God's saying is insignificant. Turn your back on him. You're staying in that stuff. You're falling away. You're not going on. You're not going to increase at all. It's not by your might or your power, nor your financial riches, your whatever you're thinking you get. Bigger barns, bigger this, bigger that. Like in Matthew chapter 6. And right up all the way up there to Matthew 6:33. It's saying, seek ye first, in time, place, and order of importance, the kingdom, the ruling realm of God, and the right to rule in royalty in God, because he's increasing. When you do this hot pursuit, God's increasing your ability to love him the way he first loved you. Beyond words. Okay? Now, and that's the pearl of great price. That's your currency. That's the motivating factor. If in any way, shape, or form it's impure and still anything other than that is motivating you in this decision, no matter what it is. If it's something whipping well and you might lose something of great value because you put a lot of time, talent, and effort into that thing, you're like Lot's wife, turning back to that Sodom and Gomorrah that burnt and ashes. Ooh, yuck, you're turning back to poop thinking. None of this stuff is worth a bull crap. It's all bull crap. Okay? I count all things as dung for winning Christ. I have that attitude with full bore and hot pursuit every time. Bow, 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 bow. Okay? All right. Yes, sir, Daddy. Let's try to chop this thing. Just skim off this whole yuck thinking. Just burn up that garbage thinking. Right? All the way through that whole process, okay? Now, you're walking your existing back into the self-existing one, right? Right? Your mind, you're taking off this old carnal mind little by little by little, thought process upon thought process, as you agree into God's right-mindedness and hot pursuit, and proceeding right back into the self-existing one, Yahweh. Okay? Father God. Right? Now, this ego or self is motivating the brass gong. Bong, bong, bong. It's wrong, 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 wrong. It's qualifying you to not go through the eye of the needle back into and in union with God and His right-mindedness, His love beyond words. You're not pure. I go around that mountain some more. Okay? All right? That's in short. Okay? Now, so this ego or self is motivating the brass gong derived of the love beyond words of God. Deprived, devoid. I'm sorry. Let me reread that. My writing's a little sloppy sometimes. Especially when I'm trying to jot it down real fast. When it's coming real fast, I'm trying to write it down. It takes me a little bit sometimes to look at it. Okay? You see, one's own ego or self is motivating the brass gong. Bong, bong, bong. That noisy gong. Bang, 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 bang. Barking dog. Bark, 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 bark. Hee-hawing donkey. That old yuck thinking. That thing is parakeeting and telling you, bark, bark, bark. And it's telling you, quoting words, but they don't. It's devoid of the truth. Don't know what it's talking about. It's twisting the word of God into the destruction. It's twisting it to their own destruction. Okay? Now, it says right here, brass is speaking of one's own selfish, unrighteous gains of one's ego thinking. And that ego is what now? It's their own righteousness, and it's edging God out. Trying to be God. Trying to be God in you. Trying to convince you. It's like Pharaoh coming after you and all his whole kingdom and stuff. His ways and his lifestyles, his desires, all this stuff. Man. Put you under bondage. God's setting you free to a fullness of life in God. So you got to pursue it, agree with God, and with all you got. Right in this precise, correct timing when God's bringing it to you. Right in the midst of that storm, that fiery trial. You're not going, oh no, I can't. Going ahead and identifying with that bullcrap. That's just to help you get out of that. So with that old thing, it's kind of like breaking that old self. Now in the self, I'll have to get to that another time because it's going to take a whole, probably easily this half hour. I might even have to do a series on that. But it's spelled E-T. I think it's like the number 853 or 854 in the Old Testament, the Hebrew and Aramaic. Okay? And that's the ancient Hebrew and Aramaic. Okay? And it's pronounced eighth, like A-Y-T-H, I think. Okay? Eighth. And it's E-T. I think of it like it's E-T. It's foreign. It speaks. It's a foreign being inside you. It's an ET. It's an extraterrestrial inside of you. Not in any way, shape, or form speaking or being nothing. It can't exist. Can't do nothing to please God. It's got to go. It's got to get out, right? You got to agree with God. Get out. Beat it, yo dog. Right? Like that song. Beat it. Just beat it. Right, go on ahead and get out of here. I don't have to listen to what you say. I don't really care what's good or bad. What you say is good or bad. Just beat it. Because you're not God, your man. Right? Okay. Kind of rushed that. That's all right. This brass thinking is speaking of one's own selfish, unrighteous coins. Yuck. There's tainted silver and gold coins in there. Ooh, yuck. Throw that crap in the garbage, in the sewer, in the wood pile to be burned up. By God. Yes, sir, Daddy. Chop this stuff down. Burn this stuff up. Yes. And bring me back to life. Because I want to be reborn in every area that you have for me. I'll gladly give this stuff up. My attitude is, God, you're right. And my right-mindedness is wrong, wrong, wrong. It's a big old gong. Bang, bang, bang. Like it's sounding. Like it's sounding brass, okay? I'll break down sounding here in a little bit. Yeah, I think I might be able to get it on this one. I don't know. Okay. It's this ego that's controlling, trying to control this sin here and taste out your smell and trying to get you to, if you're doing that, you're feeding into that, you're partaking of this, and it's giving you the shits, diarrhea, thinking, then you're disagreeing with God. No matter what you do, what you think, whatever, you're disagreeing. And you're falling away from God. Can't do it in your own might, power, strength, none of this stuff. It's got to be by my spirit, says the Lord, okay? It's not by your works, least any man boast, okay? Yeah, I got right here, a person is qualifying for this falling away by existing as a noisy brass gong, apart from the agape of God, this love beyond words. You're not going in the right direction. You're not coming back to that a greater ability, that increase in God, that God's giving you a greater increase in this area of thinking process. He's offering you a hand out of that poop thinking so that you can think and exist more at a higher level, higher order, just as he loves us. That agape, that chav love that he put in us first. And he loves us. And he's bringing us back to a greater and greater and greater ability to love him in like kind, just as he loved us. But that's not just a little bit microwavable thing. Oh, I did it one time. Gotta keep going. Keep existing. And it's multiple times. Baptismal. He's repeatedly dipping or submerging in that vinegar solution and changing it from a cucumber to a pickle thinking. You can't change it back. And once you get all the way in there in that thinking process, Ian and SYN in union with God, bam, he's welded you in there. God is your refuge. Like a big explosion. Boom! You know, you're right in there. It's melded. Man, it becomes a new element. Your thinking process becomes the right-mindedness of God, in union with God. And each and every little bitty millions, myriad thinking processes within your mind. Okay? All right, much more than millions. That's like a beginning almost. Or, you know. All right, now, that's probably on that word's good enough. Let's go to the next word. Now, let's read this again. Verse 1. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the love chapter, okay? Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, that's love, right there, agape love, okay? I am a sounding brass, or a tinkling cymbal. Now, this sounding, okay, the word translated as sounding. Okay, let me see here. Well, I have some other notes here that I'm going to go on. Okay? So I'm going to go right to this sounding. This is not exhaustive, but I'm giving you a pretty good dose, okay? Let's see here. Right here. The word translated as sounding comes from the word 2278, spelled E-C-H-E-O. This is the word.
Strong's G 2278. Aheo.
Hail. I think so. Something like that. Now, it's a verb. Its etymology is from the word 2279. Okay. Okay. And the online biblical usage of that word is to sound, or it's used of the roaring of the sea. The sea is salt water. Remember, you can't drink that. Don't drink that stuff. Ooh, yuck. That's that whole sea of humanity. It's that old humanistic thinking. Ooh, that stuff will kill you and drive you plumb mad. If you drink salt water in the natural, try to quench your thirst, drink that ocean water, well, you're going to go downhill bad. Or it might make you think, oh, it's quenching my thirst. It's good stuff. It'd be kind of like eating that old poop hot dog or poop hamburger or that milkshake with old hog slop in it. Poop and pee and mud and, oh, yuck. It's not right. It's not the right mindedness of God. Don't eat that stuff in hot pursuit. Don't eat that stuff at all. You yuck. God's offering you an opportunity to come out of that, right? This thing's roaring at you, just like that Pharaoh and his army coming after you. God softened his heart, and then God hardened his heart so he'd come after you. Didn't say nothing about, oh, hell, he's got a choice. He's got a free will. God put the pressures on you, buddy. You're going to do it, and you're going to be glad to do it. Okay? You get under enough pain, grief, or suffering, enough pressures in your life, financially, all these things, God puts them together. Oh, my goodness, you're going to cave. Think any way you can get out of that. Okay. Now, let's see here. In the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, this number 2278, this E-C-H-E-O, that verb, okay, they've got it sounding, okay, is to make a loud noise. This brass is making a loud noise. Bong, bong, okay, it's roaring, okay. It's the roar of the sea, of that old humanistic thinking. Growling just like an old dog or something. I'm gonna make you don't come back here. That's gonna be my slave. Be under my control, because you know I'm your God. No, don't you believe that dog. Right? It's not the Alpha and the Omega, beginning and the end, the first and the last. It's not God. It's sure trying to be your God. It's a bully and a tyrant. Okay, just like those nations, those 7 nations in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. Okay, I'll have to cover that on the whole series sometime. Okay, but they're stronger and mightier than you, and that's in your mind. Those ites, Jebusites, Pezerites, Amorites, Hittites. There's a bunch of them. Girgashites, okay? Those are those old thinking processes in your carnal mind, in your land, in your thinking process, that non-spiritual thinking process. That's a bully and a tyrant and a big giant in the land like Goliath. Yeah. Okay? Don't you believe it? Only way you can get out of it is turn right back to God when He's offering you the handout. Okay? Now, okay, I got some notes here. The sea, it's a humanistic thinking, here is speaking of the roar of the noisy surf of their own, of a person's own filthy, stinking, humanistic thinking, their own right-mindedness. And again, what's it say about that in Isaiah chapter 64, verse 6? My righteousness is as filthy rags. Filthy, stinking rags, okay? And if you go on into it and look at it, I've done like probably a 3-hour recording on that, on audio before. It's filthy, stinking, menstruous. It's the most nasty yuck you can think of. Okay? Vomit, diarrhea. Ooh, man, that's crap. Okay? God's delivering you from, okay? That old yuck thinking, let's call it yuck thinking, this sounding brass, okay, is not motivated by the love of God. This love beyond words, by the right-mindedness of God. Nope. It maybe tell you, oh, God's a big bad boy. He really messed up now, man. Look here, man. Look at all that stuff coming against you. You done something wrong. You bad boy or bad girl. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Boo, boo, boo. Boo, boo, boo. Condemn, condemn, condemn. I'm your friend, but man, that God's an alpha. He's awful. He's a bully and tyrant. He's telling on himself, really, that your own stinking thinking is. That's the bully and tyrant trying to be your king. That's the thing you were subjected to, not willingly, but in hope. It's the adversary, the false accuser. Right there, it's falsely accusing you. Shut up, you old dog. Get out! Do a 180-degree about face and take God's hand right in the midst of that stuff. It's the opportunity to come out of that. Pursue it with all you got. Hold on to God. Persevere through this stuff. Just beat it, right? All right. Well, seeing you qualify to fall in love with God by agreeing in hot pursuit, or qualify to go back in by disagreeing in any way, shape, or form. Boo! Fall away. Always exponentially. 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. Right on up. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, very quickly. Okay? Let's see what. This is qualifying or being negated from passing through or returning back to the mind of God. Back into and in union with God. See? Again, you're qualifying one way or the other. You gotta make a decision. You can't get out of it. Okay? God's putting the decision time. This is the valley of the shadow of death, or the valley of decision. Right in the midst of that hurricane, tornado, thunderstorm, earthquake, jackhammering, maybe just a little as a baby thinking, immature in your thinking, going back into God. It's just dusting off some stuff, but it's tough for you then. Okay? Now, it's like that, you ought to be able to hear that old barking dog, that old sounding brass that's going bong, bong, bong. It's wrong, wrong, wrong. Okay? That ego thing is like a big old horn. It's not blowing trumpet in Zion, going back into God. To the right mind of the sky, it's blowing its own horn. Okay? All right. Love you. Have a wonderful day. This was Spiritual Toolbox number 23. The examination table number 4. Audio recording number 339. The love chapter number 4. The Waterman. Okay? Thank you. I'll have to continue later. Running out of time. Have a great and wonderful day. Know that you're supremely blessed in these storms of life. God's offering you a way out. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. I'll continue a little later. Bye-bye.